So a quick note here. This is a video from a good friend of mine, JordanTV, who is one of the biggest lifeskillers on NA. He's really good, really smart, really into this. It's his thing, is like lifeskilling. He does all the lifeskills. He shows his rank is Guru 50 on pretty much everything you can get Guru 50 on. He's a super cool dude, and he made this video here, the unfortunate truth of lifeskilling in Black Desert Online. Which is really interesting, so I wanted to check it out and react to it with you guys, because I really want to know what he sees, and my perspective might be a bit different, because even though I lifeskill a lot, I'm not as hardcore of a lifeskiller as he is. As you can see here, my life skills are, the only one I'm actually above him is alchemy, but everything else, like I just do it like I'm pretty into it. Alchemy I've been very much into. It's still something I do active. But on that, like I'm just an all-around lifeskilling enjoyer at times, but it's not my main thing. So maybe my perspective is going to be slightly different. So I wanted to check this out and see what he has to say, because I know historically we've shared a lot of opinions on lifeskilling across the board. So we just had some big lifeskill updates, and I'm hoping we get a lot more. We got some fishing update, which was great. The bartering stuff, the ocean stuff, great for people to do that, right? I really hope to see more. I hope PA don't stop this, but let's see his take here.
Hey guys, this is Jordan, and I just wanted to come out with a video
Is the volume okay?
The unfortunate truth about lifeskilling in Black Desert.
And it's not pre-watched. I don't know where this is going,
on
in which
North
direction.
America. And I wanted to just create a video.
I know the screen's black. It's his
talking
video's
about
black.
my
It
opinions
changes. No, it's
at
the video.
the
It's the video.
endgame level of
It's the video.
lifeskilling, and
just wait.
Maybe for new players getting into lifeskilling, what you have
It will change
to look forward to in the future. So first off, these are my life skill levels. You can just glance them. I've pretty much have done every type of content in the game. When it comes to life skilling, I've put many out.
And also, he's a really nice guy. He streams as well. He's super helpful. He knows obviously a lot about it, and he makes guides as well. Link in the description to his YouTube and Twitch as well. Go check him out. Give him a follow.
Hours into tons of different life skills, and I wanted to give my opinion of the life skilling in Black Desert, or the unfortunate truth of life skilling in Black Desert Online.
Yeah, sailing bothering is slightly different.
And I came out with a notepad, and I just wanted to talk about some of the points that I feel lack in Black Desert Online. So essentially, we'll just start off with the very first thing. Levels are pointless after Guru 1. And what
yeah, this is one of the things I know that me and Jordan has like had the same opinion on forever. And one of the things we both, even before we got these life skills update, I was talking with Jordan, like I was watching streams and all, and like he was saying the same thing I was saying, like putting some value into the rankings of the stuff. One thing they did was with training, which I was happy to see. I know a lot of people like disappointed that it wasn't that increase in stat straight off the bat that they had said, but I personally thought it was a good thing that they tied the stat increase more to the actual guru ranks and the master ranks, because it gives them some real value to those levels rather than just gear and mastery, right? So it feels very, very weak getting levels in life skilling now, because it's just +5 mastery, right? When especially with the new gear and all.
I mean by pointless is there are not reasons to push past Guru 1. There is no Guru 10 recipe, Guru 20 recipe, Guru 30 recipe, Guru 40 recipe, all the way up to 100. So
a quick note about this as well. Except man, you get like 5 mastery per level. So it's basically nothing, and it's nothing you can't overcome with gear. There is a problem with giving higher ranks something unique, and that is people like me and Jordan, because we already have the ranks. So by having value tied to the levels, it is a buff to more veteran players that have just been playing the game longer and been getting these stuff for longer versus people trying to then catch up. We will get potentially unique recipes and things. So there is a danger of doing this. It's also one of the reasons that PA reduced the value of character levels. It used to be that you would grind for levels to unlock skills, and like the highest level players in the game were like level 62. Most people like level 58, level 60 maybe. And those players had a huge advantage. You can imagine if there was something to gain in power to get level 67. I would just get it, right? I'm 67. Boom. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm 66. Whatever, right? Let's say it's 66. I would just get it. Boom. Instantly, I would just get it for free on my warrior. But somebody that was starting the game now would just be that far behind. And if I kept grinding for XP, they couldn't catch up, right? So that's sort of the same problem with giving too much value to the actual ranks. But I fully agree they should do something because it feels really bad. At the 5 mastery is just...
Essentially, you do the same recipes past Guru 1 all the way up to Guru 100.
And you gather the same spots. I gather the same spots I did 8 years ago, man. I still got them today.
And that is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
This is a lot of lack of content, in my opinion, with lifeskilling.
One of the things they could do, and this is going to be a giga hot take, but just like they did with other things like allowing to catch up, they could make it easier getting, say, up to Guru 50. And then tie stuff after that, like sort of like catching people up a bit more, and then add some new things, like they do as well with some gearing over time, right? There is some ways PA could do this where it wouldn't be just free silver, free bonus for higher level, like higher in-game players.
A good example
And
of
I
this
want them to
is
do
that we just came out with a
Give us something to
350
strive
AP
for.
spot for grinders, or 340 AP, I believe is like a the pig, some kind of pig area for endgame players to.
Yeah, and that's what it says here. I think what they did with training is a good thing. They added some of these values that are a bit arbitrary, not necessarily like raw silver value, but like the stats, right? If you want to make good horse, you want something special, and you're committing to a life skill, then there is some value to be had with that over people like me that just does it for my G9 to 10 horse, right?
Enjoy. And PA also talked about releasing content on raising the AP to like a 350 AP spot. Now the cool part about grinding is that you have a bunch of different grind spots that require a certain amount of AP. So for example, 190. Here's a 190 spot, we have a 290 spot, etc. So when it comes to grinding, you have the motivation to push up your gear because you want to get to the next spot, whereas life skilling does not have.
And again, I'm sorry, obviously pausing a lot. This is a topic I really care a lot about, and I'm so happy Jordan is covering this stuff. I do want to just point out one thing, that PA actually has made something like this. And I know this because it's a thing for alchemy. So let me show you guys real quick here. Oh, that's the wrong one. One sec. Pro streamer, by the way, don't worry about this. There. Okay. So when this came out, what is it called? It's called where is it? I think I can just find it here. Recurring. What's the thing called for making oh god, what is it called? Do I have it here maybe? It's the stuff to make alchemy stones work. What's it called? There we go, there we go. Harmonious spirits reagent. Okay, so I think you can search here for reagent, right? What is this? Okay. There's a quest over here in Villia at Alston. I think it's a weekly quest or daily quest, And you can only pick up this quest if you are, I believe, Guru 1 or you have 800 mastery. When this quest came out, it was very few people that could do it. Like even 800 mastery wasn't easy to get originally. And it was an item, like this harmonious spirit, it's used to make spirit stone, like alchemy spirit stones. It's super bad right now, it's complete garbage. Totally not worth it. As you can see, like over time you get thousands. I've already made thousands of these stones, complete garbage. But it was something new and special that was tied to your level and all your mastery. So like these quests here of things you can do, things available to you, it's something that PA has done in the past. So it's not a completely out of the left field option for them to add similar things.
Once you get to Guru 1, you pretty much know everything. There is no reason to continue to push levels. Why does PA not come out with new recipes? I have no idea why. Now, I've been playing the game for over 5 years, lifeskilling in this game, and putting hundreds of hours into this game.
But
and
again,
it just...
As you're saying, it's just like Guru 1, right? They haven't added new things to this to push the value of levels. You have everything at Guru 1, boom, you're done. After that, it's just pure mastery.
Does not make sense to me.
I'm sure you get 5 mastery
why they do not come out with higher level recipes to motivate their player base to push that. I don't see why they couldn't add that. That's my opinion.
Basically, and I fully agree with this, instead of the value of gear just meaning you get more procs, more things from your input, and thereby increasing your silver per hour that way, it doesn't unlock something new. Like when you get more gear in PvE, and that's his point, and I fully agree with this. When you get more gear in PvE, not only do you kill the mobs faster that you're already grinding, but you can also then unlock new areas to grind, new better grind spots, new things that makes you want to push the more gear. So it's like a double supportive effect of, well, you get more gear, you grind faster, but you also unlock new content, new recipes for lifeskilling, new things to do with that more gear. And that's something that I also feel like is missing to a degree in lifeskilling.
I've played other games like RuneScape, which I don't have many hours on, but just to use RuneScape as an example,
you feel the progression.
If you want, I'll just do tree cutting, for example. I cut down a tree, and if
also, I know I'm yapping a lot here, this would actually also facilitate another thing in the game. Just like in grind spots, when you're moving on from a lower tier grind spot to a higher tier, you leave room in that lower tier grind spot for newer players, for other people. So it would also mean, let's look at it from lifeskilling perspective. Well, if somebody like Bayrakan stopped making, I don't know, Valencia meals, well, there would be less Valencia meals sold from him because now he's making something else. And maybe that would open up avenue for people that can't make the next tier, that can't grind the next spot, of having some value in these potentially lower tier items as well, because now, well, the other people maybe can make something else, right? So it could leave some.
So I want to cut down this
some value increases on lower tiers as well.
Oak tree. I need level 15. I think it's level 15 wood cutting in order to access the oak tree. Now, why does lifeskilling not have that in order to access that?
Exactly, Uders, and that's one of the big problems with this. Why, like, people like him and me, for a lot of life skills, we just instantly get it and instantly be able to do it. But there's two things in this. One thing would be just having new stuff to do for everyone, right? Having new stuff to do. And another thing would be potentially also more long term. They could do a catch up for EXP, make it easier, whatever it is, propel people up higher rank, and then put these things on even higher, maybe behind GU 50, right? So a lot of people haven't been pushing too hard on those. But you can say the same thing with adding a new grind spot, right, Uterus? There are people with full hard cap gear. You add a new grind spot and they can just instantly do it because they already have all the gear for it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
that recipe, why are they not extending the levels when it comes to life skilling? They did come out with purifieds for alchemy, so Guru 1 in order to access that, which I think that is a good route to go, but they need to keep doing that for alchemy, cooking, processing, stuff like that. Like, why is there no processing mats? You have to be G40
so too,
processing in order to access those mats. That's something that I would like to see. Anytime I see a lot of the grinders getting this content added, 350 AP, 360 AP, 370 AP, 380 AP, and they just keep raising the bar, which is good because then that motivates players to keep trying to push their gear. But when
there is also a drawback to what he's talking about right now, and that is the only way you can do this in PvE is by adding more and more catch-up mechanics. Making things easier, making gear easier, progression easier, to just lower the Agris or Black Stars once again, giving more free stuff, injecting things into the economy like the pick cave to increase essence generations, all these things to make it relatively easier over time to progress in the game in PvE, to make sure that newer players aren't just left in the dirt. But the flip side of that is a lot of people feel that your effort gets devalued over time as well. I don't personally agree with this. Well, I understand the point, but I don't agree it's a problem at all. I think it has to happen, right? But you have a lot of people feeling like, oh, all this effort I put in gets devalued over time because they make it easier over time. And you don't have that to the same degree with life skilling. So sure, we're sitting at Guru 50, a lot of us now, on some skills, and like, oh, it is what it is. But it's also special, right? And not a lot of people have it. Whereas the only way you can facilitate this in the long run, if they do this kind of progression in life skilling as well, as a fundamental part of it, is by also then power creeping it over time. So it's just something to be aware of, that you can't have one without the other, basically.
When it comes to life skilling, there is no reason other than money. A good example of this would be like, imagine if there was a grind spot where the mob did not change. You had to do the same grind spot, but the more gear you got, the more money you made at that grind spot. Well, eventually your player is going to get bored of grinding that grind spot. It doesn't matter if you raise the silver amount, they're going to get bored because there is no other grind spot to try to motivate that player to reach. Well, it's the same thing with life skilling in this game, where level does not matter, and that's an issue in Black Desert Online, in my opinion. So there's no gatekept levels like G30, G35, G50, 55, 60, etc. Raising the level to access those recipes to motivate the player to want to push to those.
Again, the problem with this, and I just like, I think PA could find a way to make it work, because they've done it in some capacity other places. So it's just like, as a general thing, this becomes content for me and Jordan. It becomes content for the 0.1% of lifeskillers, like when you're adding it higher, because it just means everyone that's not there don't get to do this. So again, you would have to have like power creeping over time.
So like any new player that...
It kind of makes sense that PA maybe not be prioritizing this, because it's like making content for the 0.1% of players.
that comes in, they basically can just do Guru 1 and they're good. They don't have to.
I think it's important to have stuff to strive for while you're trying to catch up as well. Like, we all know this for PvE. Oh, I need to get the gear so I can do Gaiven. I can do Gaiven, hell yeah. Oh my god, I gotta get the gear so I can go to Highlands. It's so good. Like, you have these goals to aim for, stuff to motivate you to push more and harder. So I think that would be healthy as well, to have that for life skilling to some degree.
To anything. Now, recently, PA released Harmonies. Now, in my opinion, I think Harmonies should have been for only players that were G40 Alchemy or higher. to be able to craft those. So to me, it makes no sense why PA does not go this route, because then you're going to motivate the person to want to push those levels to access that, which makes the life skill a lot more fun, in my opinion.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I hate that a lot of special alchemy is my big thing, right? Alchemy is my big thing, but I hate that a lot of alchemy stuff is like simple alchemy. But I don't know. Like, is the content more fun for somebody like Jordan and me that are already Goo 40 plus, and like basically nothing would change for us, right? With a change like this, nothing would change for us. Nothing whatsoever. We would just be able to corner the market even better and make even more silver. That wouldn't be any content change, right? So, like, I don't know about that one. I think that's just, well, yeah, I would like it. I would like it. Even less competition, bro. Like, there would be fucking max price. I would just be printing. No, like, for me, I would like some stuff to do. Maybe some gathering types that are locked behind some levels or whatever. Some special recipes for things like I could understand, but maybe like harmony specifically is a bit much, right? But you do benefit again from, but it's not really new content. The new content with harmonies was a new simple alchemy recipe. Who cares? Like, give us something cool, right?
Same thing with gathering and hunting spots. Why is there not? Why wasn't sniper hunting, for example? Why was that not a G30 hunting spot to motivate people to get to that spot by?
Okay, so this is where I think maybe like we have the same like idea, but we differ on the things, right? I don't think that, let's take sniper hunting as an example. I don't think it should be gated around Goo 1 at all. Maybe Master 1, maybe Artisan 1, maybe whatever, right? What it should be is that within sniper hunting, there should maybe be some mobs that can spawn an area where maybe you need a higher level to be able to do it. Right, and maybe they have a chance of dropping a special furniture. Something like that, right? I feel like that would be more appropriate. Does that make sense? So, like, you shouldn't be necessarily gatekept out of doing the entire life skill, like, but maybe there's like some stuff that unlocks that can drop specific things. And maybe it's not even better silver. Maybe there's like some prestige item attached to this that you can't hunt for or get for without having it. Maybe, I don't know, like some treasure item things being added where, oh, you can like do this kind of special hunting, you need Goo 30 for it. And that has a chance of dropping the treasure item, but it's like the same silver, maybe different mats. Or maybe some new items that goes into a different cooking recipe, whatever it is, right? You still be able to sell them. Also, content that unlocks with lifeskilling ranks doesn't need to be just more silver recipes, cosmetic stuff, like shiny cosmetics, special horse armor. Yeah, exactly, Shiro, exactly. Like your Saga Scroll? Yes, like my Saga Scroll. Right, something like that.
Leveling up the.
So, like, I agree with the concept, but I think maybe the execution, we have a bit different, like, ideas for what could be cool. But at the end of the day, that's not really, like, PF's not going to listen to any of our suggestions. Like, they're just going to do what they, if they understand the concept, like, the want of having some value tied to levels.
They're hunting, maybe at Narcian. You start there, and then you try to get to level 30, and then bam, now you can access the sniper hunting spot. They could do that with hunting. They could do that with gathering as well. With the high-end recipes in cooking and alchemy, they could add gather spots that require high gather level in order to access. This motivates the player to try to push those levels to that level, other than just money or mastery.
Yeah, but like unfortunately, like what it's also a bit like just money, like getting new stuff, all that. If it's not worth doing, people won't do it, so it has to be better silver. Yeah.
Other things in the game that I've also that have lacked that I've maybe seen in other games is, for example, why do we not have an active alchemy or active cooking or active processing? They could add mini games to make these active.
It's bad enough I have to do it. Do I have to actually be there when I do it now? Yuck.
A good example of this is Brighter Shores. I tried Brighter Shores out, and it has an active and semi-active way of doing alchemy, which I found very fun and interesting. And it was essentially, the active part was a mini game. Now I know BDO did come out with the mini game for Gathering, which I think was great. That's awesome. I'm glad they came out with a kind of fun way to add to Gathering a mini game.
Okay, so I don't necessarily agree with him on this point. I think it's good that there are some life skills, some activities in the game that favors different play styles. It's a sandbox. You don't have to do everything, but also not everything has to accommodate your playstyle, right? So, sure, let's say you love alchemy, but if it doesn't fit in how you play the game, then maybe you'll do something else. Maybe you'll learn to enjoy that because it fits how you play the game. So by changing everything, like Gathering is already an active activity, so having a minigame proc makes sense. I love it as well for Gathering. But adding these like active elements to AFK or semi-AFK, I mean, sure, I guess if you wanted to commit more to it, like I would use it. Like I oftentimes I sit and do alchemy and I'm basically just looking at me doing it. But I don't know if it's something that's like a big urgent need. Yeah.
Game. They could do the same thing with hunting, etc. So these mini games, I think they should add to alchemy, cooking, and processing. I would like to.
Also, I just want to say there's value in having these AFK activities because not everyone can play the game the same amount. And whenever you're active playing, you're increasing the value of your active activity, right? And active play should be better valued than AFK play, and it is. So you gotta just, well, if you're now making these activities semi-active or active as well, then you're increasing the value of those, which is a relative nerve compared to the guy that has less play. So maybe you do some active stuff when you're there. I'm not 100% on this one here, even though I would love it because it fits what I do with alchemy, but I don't know if that's good for the game per se.
To active process, I do not like semi-active processing. Now, they should still leave those options in the game, like semi-active processing, semi-active alchemy, cooking, you know, for people that maybe work at home and they want to have some kind of side thing they can do. But I also would like for players that are active, that want to maybe potentially do these actively and push them faster or more abundant than active. Now, PA would have to then somehow balance the market, but I'm not going to go to that. But yeah, that's basically the lack of motivation, whereas grinding has like 300 AP, 320, 330, 340, right? You have motivation to get the gear so then you can access the grind spot, which I think is great for grinding and PvP. I think that's a great part in the game, and PA is really good with that portion of the game, but when it comes to the life skill side, there is a lot that is lacking. Other things, workers, why do we not have master workers? Or
I've been saying this forever. Master workers, let's go. Some way of specializing workers, maybe. I don't know, investing some points into specific nodes so you can like choose what you want. Let's say I do a lot of, let's say I really want a lot of traces, which I do, right? I would love to somehow empower my trace nodes because I need those materials. Maybe somebody's really struggling for some cooking mats, some way of like boosting specific nodes as well. Maybe expansion of the palette system where you have like these gathered materials. Maybe like I would love that, right? So let's say you have your palace over here. Expansion of this, so maybe every day you have like only normal gathered materials, but you could like roll and choose which one you want to get. So you could have different saps, you could have cooking mats, you could have timber, ores, traces, and you would have like all these different gathering points. And then you could choose which one you wanted to go for in case you, well, this week I need a lot of timber for whatever reason. I'm gonna try and go on timber nodes here with these. So I think that would be cool as well. And yeah, like having a bit of randomness to it like this, otherwise there would probably be like a math number. Oh, this one is just better, so I just take that. So like I definitely think with the workers and the nodes, I really hope that they start expanding on that again. And use some of this pretty cool stuff they did with the Palace Workshop. Hey chillers. I get his point, and it's kind of interesting. He basically wants life skill, grind spot. Yes, and that's one of the things I would like as well, Uterus. Something that unlocks as like higher up. The question is just like how best to do it. Is it just like grind to make more silver? Is it all back to silver, or maybe life skilling is different than grinding, and that's okay. So maybe you unlock some alternate spots that maybe can drop treasure items. Or something like that, right? I think that would probably be cool. So instead of just more horizontal progression in terms of your recipes and money, maybe there's some vertical horizontal progression as well. So instead of vertical, there's some horizontal progression as well with visual stuff, treasure items that unlock at different ranks that you can go out and gather or hunt for specifically. That would be really cool as well, but like some sort of value, yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Or guru workers with maybe more special abilities, or if they just want to raise it. So instead of like, for example, you can craft 4 crates at once with an artisan worker. Why not 5 crates at master worker, or 6 crates at guru worker? That's something that they could add maybe potentially in the future, or something that I would like to see. Also, I just want to talk about the oversaturated amount of gather mats is absolutely ridiculous in this game. I would like to see more
of some gather mats,
more bottlenecks in the game. Going back about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, all the meat was bottlenecked. And basically what bottleneck means is that you're not able to buy it on the market, or if you are to put up a pre-order, it's going to be very slow to get. So you are then able to take the gather tool, and go get the material yourself.
Okay, so a note about this. The difference between having mats available on the market and you having to gather them yourself for your recipe is that it shifts the amount you do from AFK to active play. And as Jordan and me, we can play the game a lot. So going out and getting the materials yourself, and the only way you can make said recipe is you actively play the game and you gather this material. So somebody that doesn't play as much doesn't get as many materials to do the AFK activities later. So there can be some value in that, but it also favors people like me and him that can play the game a lot. It doesn't mean it's wrong, but there can be some pros about being able to just sit and do cooking if you can only play the game like 1 hour per day, right, active, and then you do a lot of semi-AFK. So this leads back to the point I had earlier with, well, different things in the game fits different playstyles. If you start bottlenecking too much, then suddenly it's less about, say, cooking or alchemy, and it's more about the active gathering that then resolves in your AFK time. and then it becomes more of a direct competition to, say, grinding, right? Well, so you're having to put in, say, like these amount of active hours. Well, now it's competing with you going out and grinding instead, versus, well, you have like a lot of AFK time, so now you can generate this value with your life skills while the AFK. So there's pros and cons to both, but I think that's one of the reasons that maybe they've been supplying a lot more mats, especially with hunting now completely taking care of meat on the market.
That gave me a lot of motivation back in the day to level up cooking, because I had to go get the mat and then could upcraft it.
Yeah, and then it also then gives people an advantage, right? So me and him, I used to push alchemy really, really hard. You still have to gather a lot for alchemy and play, but it gives you this like edge on other people that can't do it as much though.
So I would like to see more bottleneck materials.
Quick note about that, as an alchemist, there are so many bottlenecks in alchemy. The problem is that they need to then be gatherable. Just a quick note, I know he's aware of this, and I know you take that as a like something you can go out and actively gather. Yes. I don't, as an alchemy part of it, we don't need more of that. If anything, we need like ways of gathering, say, traces, and even fruits at a better rate, and some of these branches and all that, right? But you have that in alchemy, you don't really have that in alchemy, so... Sorry, in cooking, so maybe do alchemy, yeah.
But reasons why to go get the
yeah.
materials, so then you can upcraft. And I feel like PA is just oversaturating the market. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, just as an example, I can share like my alchemy storage. Like, why do I have almost 20 million first sap? Why do I have 30?
Well, first sap is kind of unused for anything these days, so that's probably why he has a lot, but also because he's been, I'm guessing, buying them. Like, first sap specifically, it's a bad example. Like, he's probably just like, he's just doing this live, right? First, we can buy in the market as much as you want. None of the other ones you can. They're all sold out. They're all sold out here. Zero, 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 zero. Like, they're just all sold out. So not the best example, I would say, like specifically for alchemy. Yeah, like they're sold out. If you do this a lot and you don't do all other stuff, you're focusing on that, then you're definitely gonna run into issues, and you have to go out and gather. You have to gather a lot.
3 million maple sap, 37 million pine sap. Why is there this much sap in the economy? It's
well, it's again, like, this is a super biased take he's having, right? So I'm higher alchemy than he is. I'm like, he just got Goo 50 recently, and he could push way higher than me if he wanted to with all the mats he has. But like, I do this and I've done it for a long time. I do gather, but I'm not a full-time life skiller, right? Like I play the game active, I grind, and sometimes I do gathering and all. But for people that are hardcore committed to life skilling, it is a different point of view than people that are doing it as a side thing. Even though someone like me I'm pretty into it, right? On alchemy, I'm normally ranked 1 on most channels. There are few channels where I know I'm not gonna be ranked 1, but in general, like, I'm ranked 1 pretty much everywhere. And I have like a 300 billion alchemy storage right now. But you look at my sap, and I've been gathering sap, right? I've been preparing. I'm gonna do a big haul. Like, I'm not pulling his numbers at all. Right? I'm higher level than him. I've also done some more, so he would burn through some of his mats to get to my level. He'll still have way more than me at that point. But like, I'm sitting here with like 250k snowfield, 455k beer, 300k pine, 100k maybe. I think I have like 250k around, right? 350k. So you have like a 0 to 2 zeros more on his stacks than I do. So like, it's not like these items are floating around in the economy to that degree. With this specific thing, he's a complete outlier with how much he has. And I consider that somebody that's doing alchemy, and I gather for it, and I have bits in all the time. I have bits in on all the saps pretty much all the time.
Absolutely ridiculous. So I
can promise you this is not a normal person problem
in the game
to have mats with alchemy.
Now, obviously, I bought those mats, but that's what I'm saying. The issue is that I did not have to go get the material. There's just so much of it that you can just buy.
Okay, so a quick note, he's not saying over how long time he bought those mats. And that's sort of an advantage as well with more veteran players versus newer players, is this gap, right? Of him being able to then buy over more years, having bits in and everything. And I know he's been pushing all those other life skills. He's way higher. Like he's one of the best life skills on any biggest ones, right? And but he's like Goo 50 on multiple life skills, like gathering and everything. I don't. I only have well, obviously cooking. Maybe has that. It's alchemy of my big one. So he's spending his time elsewhere also, and this is like most people don't have that time to do it everything, and a lot of people that are also doing alchemy or cooking or whatever life skills maybe also grind. So it is like a specific point of view, and this is why I wanted to watch the video. I figured I might have like a slightly different point of view, even being a big life skill myself.
Which makes
so a lot of the stuff like fundamentally I fully agree with. As I mentioned earlier, especially the stuff in the beginning.
Saturated. It's just oversaturated. There's way too many mats. Also,
somebody was struggling to get alchemy mats and was literally buying hundreds of thousands of his saps when he sold them a couple days ago. I don't agree. I do not agree.
With the boat content,
maybe
which
you
I
spread
actually
out
enjoy.
a lot of stuff,
I like the boat content.
So you have years to save up
fun.
and buying constantly.
In the game, I think PA's done pretty good with the boat and in progression, able to upgrade your boat. However, I think it's a lack of like what to do with the gear other than speed and maybe more weight and more damage, but there's no gate kept content, which is what grinders get to experience, right? 320 AP, 330 AP, you want to get as close to that AP or achieve that AP in order to get to that spot, which motivates the grind side of the section to get there. Why do boats not have that? Why is there not a sea monster hunting spot that requires blue gear in order to do that progression or to do that spot? And maybe in the future they could come out with yellow gear where you can't kill the mobs unless you have yellow gear.
I fully agree with this. I just want to say I think like there's probably an explanation to it, which is a lame one, but it's quite simply that if you put this sort of progression in the game, people expect it to continue, and then PA has to make content and spend time and resources and money making new content for it. So it's just easier not doing that. It's just, yeah, like, fuck, like, lifestyle's been like this, so it's one of those, well, if we don't change it, then maybe it's okay. It would be dope if they did that, right? Had a proper progression in it, but it's like one of those, well, that's gonna mean they gotta keep doing it. And I mean, shit, how long ago was it? Like, we just started doing life skills again. It's amazing. I hope to keep going. Please keep going. But before that, it's been years before anything meaningful had happened with life skills. I hope he starts prioritizing it, and then maybe we could see something like that, because I very much agree with this point here. Then it would be amazing if we got some sort of real progression in life skills as well, other than just making the same recipe faster. Or not even fast, like just make more of it. It's like, a bit lame.
Making the gear more superior, therefore players want to push the gear so then they can access that spot. That's something that I would like to see with the boat content. And in my opinion, with the life skilling and grinding section, this is mainly just like a PvE video. The balancing of the game so players can choose whatever path to whatever goal they have equals more money. So PA has to balance the game. It's unfortunate when it comes to life skilling, because I do stream BDO.
It's unfortunate with all content in the game. It's not unique to life skilling. Christ and Awakening Warrior PvE.
A lot. when people come into my channel and they ask, well, Jordan, hey, I want to do alchemy. How can I make money in alchemy? And I have to sit there and be like, well, alchemy, unfortunately, does not make that much silver.
A lot of
This
times
route
it
is
loses you
better.
money.
You'll see it all the time with grinding and life skilling. Which one's better for more money?
Yeah.
And so PA needs to.
That's a really good point. As somebody that does life skilling for reasons that are not silver, with alchemy, it is something that people care about. Just look what happened with fishing, with FK fishing. It actually generated a huge resurgence in the life skill community. And you might be like, oh, it's just AFKing. Yeah, but even despite it just being an overnight AFK activity with the fishing stuff, it exploded in the community with sharing knowledge, people starting to work on their gear, their light stones. You can see some of the prices on like Patient, Lightstone, fucking max price, right? So it does something. People care about silver because you need so much silver for progression in this game. So of course silver matters, value matters. And yeah, like it's, you sort with the fishing. Small change there. So I understand, like I always say, like do the stuff you want. You can make good silver with life skilling, great silver with grinding and all that. You can make competitive silver with life skilling if you do the right thing and all. But it would be nice if it was like across the board more competitive, so people could choose their own path instead of having like life skilling just be this side activity, unless you're like giga into it, right?
Balance the game a lot better, so then players can choose any path that they want to go in order to make the money. So that's something that I would love and think would be great for the game, is if no matter what route the player chooses, if they want to go catch horses, if they want to do alchemy, if they want to cook, if they want to process, they should be able to make endgame money.
Again, there are some differences here where I don't necessarily agree. It depends what you mean with endgame money. Like, I don't think it should be the same. I think grinding should be the best silver, straight up. It's 100% like active gameplay. You don't get this kickback on your semi-AFK afterwards with your cooking and all that after you get done gathering or hunting. You don't get to then amplify your silver, right? You just sell it basically. Also, it's more monetized with grinding, which unfortunately is a dirty truth, right? Company's gonna make money. So you use loot scrolls for grinding, which is the monetized aspect of it. I'm sure there's some other stuff with, say, inventory space or mates or whatever, right? Probably more useful for grinding. So I'm sure PA makes more money on people being more into grinding than into life skilling. Also, there's more gear progression with crunch stones and things like that attached to grind gear, combat gear, PvP gear than there is with life skilling. There's a lot. Obviously now you chron a lot, prions, super expensive. They can make money with that, right? But realistically, they might end up monetizing life skill more if it's sort of comparable. So there's like these other dirty areas of the conversation when you're comparing these two things. But like again, it's like chill, laid back. Should that make the same stuff as you out there sweating for hours active playing? I don't know if it should.
Whether PA wants to make it a level thing,
right?
So in order to access that money, you have to get to the higher level.
Well, there's definitely some aspects of life skills that need some buffs,
material
updates.
That requires the certain level in order to make that money, or however they want to do it. That's something that I think that BDO needs. Also, things that maybe could be cool, it's just an opinion. Training can only access catching T8 horses at G1. So again, making the level matter in order to achieve, in order to start catching T8 horses. I'm just pretending this is like a new training patch that just came out. In order to catch those, you have to be G1 training. Therefore, it's gate-kept levels, and then it motivates the player to want to level up their training. And then make silver scale with the end game scale if you're a higher training level. These are just like examples, things that I would like to see in the game. But with the unfortunate truth of life skilling, basically levels do not matter past Guru 1. Now you could make arguments like G35 training is the last level to get the bare minimum role of training levels. That is great. I'm glad they have that.
I agree.
It
I think it was a good
motivates
addition.
people to want to push those levels.
And it's also it's sort of like a side level thing. Like it doesn't increase the silver power you make, right? With the base stats, but it's for the people that are maybe doing it. They can have a better chance of making their perfect horse. So something like that I think is really cool. And I'm happy they figured out a good way of doing something with values 2 levels for training. And I hope they continue the life skill updates so we see it for more stuff. A little hard to balance all across the board, you know? Yeah, no, of course it'll be like borderline impossible to balance. But the point is still, I think also that you would want them to keep working on it. Like just because it's not balanced, so like that's the same with PvE class balance. It doesn't mean they shouldn't be doing something to improve it, right? Of course it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be impossible, but they could update it and put some values into it and prioritize life skill updates for a bit, and that's what I hope they keep doing. They've been doing a couple here and they've been good, right? There's some nice additions, nice changes. Hopefully they're not done right. And something to put value on your level would also be very cool. I like that. So we just say, yeah, but like maybe we don't have to do it here. Like maybe we can keep the ball rolling with life skilling.
But I would like to see a lot more of this in Black Desert Online, and I think it would motivate people to want to push certain levels if it accesses them something that maybe other players do not have. Just like with grind gear, if you're already 360 AP, 350 AP, you get to enjoy the spots, whereas all the other players that maybe don't have that gear can access. So that's something that...
Yeah, but then you also have to remember that by doing this, it will mean that PA are going to make it easier and easier and easier over time to progress in life skills too, and you will get that feeling of your hard work being devalued. Now there would be then some actual value to the hard work you've done already, right? Whereas right now there isn't any value other than your ranking. So like I guess the big conversation would be, should there be any other values of this? And let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think about that.
I hope BDO will maybe look into, maybe watch this video. This is my opinion of like a high-end life skill.
It doesn't get more high-end than Jordan when it comes to life skills.
It's done mainly life skill content. So thank you guys for watching and hearing my opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Alright, so yeah, like obviously this is a giga high-end life skiller, and I think he shares a lot of the points that maybe a lot of the high-end grinders also feel, having this stuff to strive for. But I think we also sometimes forget that, well, people that are playing the game and not at this level do have stuff to strive for still. So I do think they should add things for the high end as well. But one of those could be these horizontal things that unlock maybe some availability to, again, some treasure items, some flex items. Maybe you don't need Goo 50 hunting to get that stuff right. But I do like them having something attached to it that maybe is interesting for that person doing it. I think like the trading stuff was a great way of doing it, having these like stat increases, which doesn't necessarily increase the value, but it can be you as an individual getting a better horse. Especially if you're into that life skill, you probably want to get a perfect horse or something like that. So there's a lot of these points I do agree with, and I'm curious what you guys think. PA is, as far as I know, still in the process of doing life skill updates. We are expecting the last ocean update with the captains and seamen and all that stuff being updated here within the next month, I believe it was. There should already be a date out from the dev talk. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and check out Jordan. Give him some follows and like. He does a lot of great life skill content, so you want to try it out. Ask him, and I'll see you all in the next one.